Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is absolutely amazing to be here with you on this beautiful Monday morning. Thank you for being here. As I tell you often, we understand that you could be somewhere else, but yet you chose to be here with us, meditating, lifting our planet, improving your world, improving our world, improving the consciousness of the entire planet simply by being here. Every time that you meditate, you do this. Every time you meditate, you lift the energy in our world. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for being here today again.
Welcome to Success Through Meditation. I'm Shakti, coming to you from a lineage of enlightenment to help you to see, honor, and love the light within yourself so that you can see, honor, and love the light within others.
So, first, yes, we are going to be talking about change, making a change, how to make a change, any change. That's what we're talking about. But I get a lot of questions. Actually, when you answer the 3 questions to enter our private Facebook group, Success Through Meditation with Shakti, you are asked to answer a few questions. But I do get questions in that portal, but also on the side, I get many questions about meditation, about how to proceed. So some of the questions that I get are, how do you meditate, of course? How do you release stress? How do you relax? How do you focus? How do you let go of frustration? How do you meditate in general? Do you sit outside? Do you sit inside? How long should you meditate? Is 5 minutes enough? Is 2 hours too long? What can you expect when you practice meditation? When you begin to practice meditation, what can you expect? And when will I see results? This is a very common one. Should I feel anything? These are questions I get. Will I see anything? And how will I know if I'm doing it right? Well, let me go down just a few of them before I begin to address change. Because all of these questions have to do with change, don't they? Will I see results? Yes. You will change. I can say that without any hesitation. You will change through the practice of meditation. And you can expect that. It may not. It is a very subtle thing. Right? It may not happen with, showers. It may not happen with angel singing. But you will see change. And you will feel differently about life. One of the questions, should I feel anything? You will feel differently about life. It becomes more sparkly. Life becomes more beautiful. You're able to then see more clearly the path in front of you, how to proceed forward, how to live your life so that happiness becomes the primary. Well, it is actually, isn't it? Happiness is the primary objective of most humans. They want to be happy. Everyone wants to be happy. And you will see this in the practice of meditation. You will learn to recognize love and happiness and joy. You will learn to recognize it. A lot of times we get so caught up in what's going on in our lives that we miss the beauty. We miss the joy. We miss the brightness of our lives. So the stress that can be produced by living on this planet is mitigated. It is stopped in the moments that you meditate. As you sit and learn to be surrounded in stillness, the stress simply goes away. It's a part of the deal when you learn to meditate. And the more consistent your meditation practice, the deeper your meditations go. So, let me address a couple more questions here. I just some of these questions are just so beautiful. How do I connect with Source? How do I connect with my true self? One of the ways would be by sitting in stillness, by learning to see clearly who you are, what you are, why you're here. You see this through the practice of meditation when you sit in stillness. How can I clear the clutter in my mind? By learning to observe your mind, by observing yourself. When you are aware of what your mind is doing, when you're aware of the thinking that goes on in your mind, in your brain, you're then able to clear the clutter, really. Over time, it doesn't happen the first time you meditate, but certainly the process begins. And the journey is so much fun. It's a wonderful, beautiful, enlightening journey that you take when you begin to meditate. How do I quiet my thoughts? By learning to focus, which is what we do here, to teach you how to focus. In the beginning, that's what meditation is. Focus, focus, focus. That's all that it is. And you're learning to do just that, which helps you in business, helps you in life. When you learn how to be laser focused, you get more done, right? For the last one, I'll look at this one. How do I learn to stop the negative thoughts? By becoming aware that they are there. By observing your thinking, you come to realize how many negative thoughts that you have on a moment by moment basis. And when you do see these negative thoughts, when you are aware of your negative thinking, you're able to replace the negative thinking with positive thinking. It's quite a simple process, really. I recommend, just as a side note, I recommend that you make a list. Make a list. I love lists. Make a list of all of the things all of the experiences that you have had in your lifetime that empowered you. High moments when you were filled with joy, filled with hope, love, filled with all gratitude. Write these things down write every one of them down. Start as young as you can remember. These high moments of love, of inspiration, of joy. Write them down. When maybe you've accomplished something that you had worked so hard on and it got done, you finished it. Because when you write them down, number one, it empowers you to remember them more easily, so that when you have these negative thoughts, you can go back, take a look at your list or remember your list and replace the thinking with positive thinking. It's such a simple thing, isn't it? It's a simple thing that is not realized or forgotten. So my recommendation is that you make this list, because as you make this list, you will realize that change absolutely is possible. What happens is that you gain power through the practice of meditation. You gain awareness, you gain the power to learn to stop thought, which is the most powerful thing that you can do with your time, stopping thought. Once you have learned to observe your mind and its behavior, you're able to make your mind your ally. How you think lays the path for change. The way that you think matters. So no matter what you're dealing with, whether it's death, sickness, frustration, anxiety, whatever it is, tragedies, this is life, right? It is life. But you can manage it in every moment of your life. Meditation raises the energy, the kundalini energy within. Lots and lots and lots of energy is released as you learn to go deeper in your meditation practice. So you make your mind calm, to stop thought, to learn to stop thought. Sort of like the calm on an ocean. The early morning glass, if any of you have ever lived or been on the ocean, the early morning glass, we call it, surfers especially, call this glass. The ocean is completely smooth, glistening, without even a ripple. This is the calm that you're looking for through the practice of meditation. So you raise your kundalini energy when you meditate, and tremendous power is gained. The power really to navigate your life in the very best way possible. The longer that you stop thought, the more energy that is released. Now, it takes years to learn to stop thought, so no hurry here. No hurry. You're on a journey, right? You're on a lovely, beautiful journey. So when this energy is released and you learn to stop thought, you're able to change very, very quickly. When you're able to silence the monkey mind, you can then set your own course for change. You use the energy that you gain in meditation to be happy or miserable. Mistakes are made, certainly, but you use them to fail forward. There's a wonderful book by John Maxwell. He definitely has his own bent on philosophy, et cetera, but he writes a wonderful book called Failing Forward that helps you to realize that there is no forward motion if there's not going to be failure along the way. So mistakes are made, right? We gain a lot of energy, and sometimes maybe we don't use it in the best way possible. But with the power of our meditations, we can reshape our minds. When you learn to reshape your mind, you are then able to set the course for your life in a much more beautiful, happy way. And that's the idea. When you want to change anything in your life, first you gain the energy, you practice meditation, okay? You sit in meditation in silence. And you gain your energy to empower you, to be able to know how to make the change that you want to make. If the mind is constantly cluttered with negative thinking, change becomes very, very difficult. But when you clear the clutter, calm the mind, and become happy first, change then becomes inevitable. I speak of this quite often, that when you want to manifest in this lifetime, when you want to manifest anything, whether it's abundance, love, relationship, whatever it is that you're wanting to manifest, become happy first. Be happy first. Don't think that whatever it is that you desire will make you happy. It doesn't work that way. It may give you some joy temporarily, but everything grows old, doesn't it? And then you're not happy anymore. Or you can have too much of it, and then you're not happy anymore. So learn to be happy first. And the way that you manifest at that point will be much faster. So, once again, we meditate. We gain energy through the practice of meditation. We gain power through the practice of meditation. We observe our thinking so that our positive thoughts dominate. And then we're able to see feel, know, and experience our own happiness before we set out to manifest. I'll give you an example. You've lost your job. No income. How will you pay your rent? How will you feed yourself? Life is very challenging in that moment. No income, right? So you set out to look for a job, but you're worried, you're upset, you're concerned, you're anxious. So what happens when finding the job? It becomes very, very difficult because of your mindset. So what you must do as you sit in meditation is, as you learn to control your thinking, is feel the happiness that is you. Learn to do that first. Look at your heart. Look at your soul. Look at where you came from. Be grateful for your breath. Be grateful for your seeing. Be grateful for those who love you. Be grateful for those that you love. Learn to be happy first, and then go out and get a job. It happens like that, especially when you have the intention to do anything. When you sit in meditation with happiness, joy, and power, whatever it is that you intend to do comes like that. It really does. It's very quick. There is example after example, certainly in my own life, with this very thing. But the thing that we must remember is to be happy first, to gain the power, to be able to change. And once you have learned this little secret, you can make any change that you want anytime. When you learn that to be empowered, to recognize your own happiness is what brings manifestation into your life. When you learn to manifest whatever it is that you're needing or wanting to make this life more fun. Because why are you here? To have a good time. To have a wonderful time. To know light. To know love. What's not to be happy about? Right? So learn to be happy first. So this helps you to realize your own nature, the ego that has been produced, because you needed to get to a certain point in your life before you realized that your ego was not necessary. Your ego served a purpose. You know, it got you through the playground antics. It got you through your teenage years, right? Your ego helped to help you survive the world as a young being, right, on this planet. But then one day we see that it's no longer necessary, and you realize that there is no self. There is only joy, power, happiness, love, compassion, beauty of existence. That's all there is. The personality is only a part of the fun that we have on this planet. So you can change it if you want. You know, it's sort of like when you're a child and you move from one place to another, or you're a young adult, even an older adult, and you move from a place that you've been in for years. You've lived in a certain place, and now you're going to go to a new school. You can become a completely different person, can't you? Because you don't have people around you who are holding you in a particular thought. That's a subject for another time, because that is a difficult thing to manage. But you're working on empowering yourself. You can change. You can be whatever you want in any moment. Become whoever it is that you want to be in every moment when you learn the secrets, the empowerment of meditation. So, to learn to silence your thinking, that is the key. So if you can change what is in your mind, if you can empower yourself through the practice of meditation, or when you empower yourself through the practice of meditation, you can hold a new image of yourself in your mind. For instance, let's say that you would like to engender more purity within, more humility within. Let's say that that's a change that you would like to make in your own life, to have more purity. So what we do is we first meditate, empower ourselves, release more and more of the energy within. Hang out with people who have a lot of purity. Be with them. Learn to become more like them. And of course, meditate more deeply than you ever have. On a constant basis, work to be in meditation and silencing your thinking. On a daily basis, work to do this. And as you do, you become more and more empowered to be able to clear the clutter, to be able to recognize your true self, the happiness that you are, the love that you are, the light that you are, so that then you can serve with all of this energy and power that you have. Serving becomes much more available. You find that you run into places, people, things where you can serve, you can be of service. When you learn to hold the new image, the new empowered image in your mind of yourself, using this energy that you had gained from your meditation practice. When you begin to see things in a new way, thinking happier thoughts, when you trust, when you have faith, again, you change. And if you hold this new image of yourself, not only when you're meditating, this assists in any change that you'd like to make. These are all cues or tricks, tools that you can use. All of these things that I'm telling you, holding the image, sitting in meditation, smiling more, laughing more, hanging out with people that do, people who have more purity, people who are more humble. If that is what you want, if learning humility is what you want, hang out with those who are, then hold this image not only in your meditation practice, but during the day. Hold this image of yourself with more humility, more purity, more strength, more happiness. Hold this image, and you will be amazed at the changes that you can make like that. It may not happen the first time you set the intention to do this. It may not. But by now, you're beginning to learn to reshape your mind. And when you learn to reshape your mind, you gain the ability, the power and the energy needed to make any change that you'd like to make at any time that you'd like to make it. When your mind begins to illuminate with higher thinking, with higher ideas, higher levels of mind, of consciousness, you will be able to do things that you never imagined yourself being able to do. This is how you change. One of the ways that you learn to change. For those of you who may be new to the practice of meditation, what we do is on a daily basis, we wake up, or at the very least, wash your hands and face to sort of wash off the energies of the night. We find a space in our homes, right? It might be just a little corner in your bedroom where you sit in a chair with your feet planted firmly on the ground, or on a pillow with your legs crossed. Either way, your hands are placed in your lap. You may have a small table with a flower, a candle flame, a yantra, a picture of a deity, a statue, or maybe you're able and fortunate enough to look out onto the horizon, over the mountains, the deserts, the ocean. We sit. Our backs are straight. This is very important because this energy that I've been talking about, this kundalini energy, is being released. So it flows up, down, all around as you gain the power, strength, and energy to be able to make the changes you want to make. We use music to sort of block out the other 8.5 billion people on the planet thinking. They're all thinking. They're transmitting their radio waves just as you do. So the music helps to block this out. Our music is infused with enlightened energy. It was produced, it was composed to help you to be able to meditate more easily, more deeply. So we sit for 15 minutes in the morning. Eventually, you might double your time. You might add a second meditation so that eventually, over the course of a year or two, you work up to meditating twice a day, an hour each time. There's no need really to go any longer than an hour, unless you're very inspired, but not necessary. So it all begins with 15 minutes of sitting in silence, observing your thinking, allowing your thoughts to just float by like a flock of birds in the sky, like the clouds in the sky. Right? We allow them to float by. You will have thoughts when you first start meditating. You will have a lot of thoughts. As a matter of fact, you'll have probably more thoughts than you ever knew you had, because you're sitting and observing. As you observe, you allow it all to go. You let go of it all of your ideas, everything you think you have ever known, thought, felt about who it is that you think you are. You let it go, all of it. And what ends up happening is that you learn to feel love for yourself that maybe you have never known. You learn to feel happiness, unlike any happiness you've ever known. Nirvana, bliss, it's all a part of it. It's all a part of the learning, all a part of the experience of meditation. So we sit up nice and straight. We breathe normally. We relax our bodies, as we're going to do today. So as we begin, I'm going to take myself off camera. Go ahead and sit up nice and straight, and we'll begin to relax the body. I will give you a visualization today, and then after the visualization, we will have the yantra on the screen. The yantra is there in case you need more focus or you need another focus. It's okay. You can focus on a chakra. You can focus on the heart chakra. You can focus on the third eye. Maybe you need more power and energy. You can focus on your power center, the third chakra, your navel center. That's your power center. Or you might focus on every note in the music. Any of these focus points are wonderful. We'll start out with a visualization, and then the yantra you might want to use that will be on the screen. It's an ancient geometric design that is there designed to help you to calm your thinking. You gaze at the very center of the yantra, not stare, but gaze. Allow your mind, your body to be relaxed. And you'll find that your thoughts begin to calm down. All right, so go ahead and sit up nice and straight. I'll take myself off camera. Take a deep cleansing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and hold for the count of 3 at the top. Focus your attention on your eyes. The muscles around your eyes, relax the muscles around your eyes. As you do, your facial muscles, your jaw muscles will also begin to relax. If you have any tension whatsoever in your scalp, relax your scalp. Relax your neck. Down into your shoulders. Relax your upper arms, your lower arms. Relax your hands and your fingers. Relax your back. Relax your back on either side of your spinal column as you're sitting up nice and straight. Still, relax your back. Relax your abdomen. Release all of the muscles in your abdomen. Relax your hips. Relax your upper legs, your lower legs. Relax your feet and your toes. Relax, relax, relax. As you're sitting up nice and straight, your back is as straight as is comfortable for you. Close your eyes and visualize the sky filled with stars. Imagine that you're going to leave your body and go right up into the stars. And as you go through the stars, you're going to change. Your earthly personality is going to fall away. And now your etheric self, your subtle physical self will be there. Now go above the stars into other dimensions. Go through these other dimensions really quickly, one after the other. They're all different colors. Go through them quickly and see yourself going through them. You're actually doing this, going through these colorful dimensions. Now, as you do, go through each one as more and more of the self that you have been is going to fall away. And your being will get clearer and clearer. As you go through these dimensional planes, the parts of you that are from them will go back to them. And finally, you get above all the dimensional planes, and you now enter into a flux, a golden, luminous light that really doesn't move, nor is it still. There's no direction, no dimension, and you go right into that. It's like going right into the heart of the sun. Merge with that, be that. Feel yourself in that. Get lost in it. Study it. Be it. Stop your thoughts. Be still. Just hold yourself in this golden flux with all of your psyche and all of your power as long as you can. For those of you who may be new to the practice of meditation, continue visualizing this golden flux until our meditation session has ended. Become one with it. For those of you who are new, continue this visualization until the end of our meditation. For those of you who have been practicing a few years or longer, feel yourself in this golden light, this golden flux, into the first few moments of our meditation music, and then let go. Let go and let eternity do with you what it will. At the end of the meditation, I will return and bring you down from this golden flux of energy back to earth. Now, let's meditate.
Now that you have released all of the cells that you ever had, ever knew about, they've all gone back into those colorful dimensions. They've gone back to where they came from. And you've been resting in this golden flux. You have become one with the golden flux. You are the golden flux. Gradually, feel yourself coming back down after being in this totality. Come back through those dimensional planes. And as you do, you're going to come back shiny and clear as you pass through each color, each dimensional plane. You're going to take on new qualities, new hope, new belief, new power. Finally, down through the stars and onto the earth, a strong, new, radiant self, the right self, has come with you. The right caretaker personality, and don't worry about what it is. It is just from where you've just been. Namaste. Thank you so much for being here today. Namaste. The light in me sees, honors, and so loves the light in you. See you soon.